Hello, my name is Malcolm Levene. I've been a personal branding expert for about 20 years. Private clients have included Tony Blair, Michael Marks, former chairman of Merrill Lynch, Andrew Motion, former UK Poet Laureate, Tom Cruise, Michael Gove, and Lyle Lovett, country and western singer, who's better known in this country for his very short marriage to Julia Roberts. Corporate clients have included BP, Prudential, Deutsche Bank, European Parliament in Brussels, which was great, Bank of New York Mellon, and numerous small businesses from PR to finance. Yes, a very eclectic group with one thing in common: the desire to communicate their unique personal brand in a highly effective manner. Each of us has a personal brand. Thing is, many aren't authentically in touch with it. As Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, said, is this: your personal brand is what other people say about you when you are not in the room. It's my job to guide you towards making excellent choices that will enable you to discover your personal brand from the inside out. Moreover, once discovered, you'll be able to project it on the outside. I do this with my program, Power of One. I presented this program to Volvo, European Parliament, Prudential, KPMG, business schools, colleges and universities in the UK and Europe. I'm the visiting professor of the London Metropolitan University, where I am today. Through the Power of One 7 core principles, you'll acquire the skills that will enable you to discover and release your personal brand. That way you can become the best version of who you are and no longer have to be concerned as to whether you said the right thing, because the principles teach us how to communicate effectively. Therefore, we begin to experience less coulda, woulda, shoulda moments in our lives, if at all. First principle, let's begin with principle 1, the authentic one. The objective is to ascertain how we come across in the workplace by following an exercise that's in place at the London School of Economics, US Army, and prominent corporate businesses in Europe and the USA. We can become more emotionally resilient, calmer, and more positive. Here's the breathing exercise. Close your eyes. Softly, sit back in your chairs. Please sit back in your chair. Thank you. Breathe consciously. Breathe out. Breathe in again. And out. Big in. Big out. Now think of 5 things in your life you're grateful for, and one of them could be a cup of tea. This exercise is present in the US Army, Prudential, and businesses throughout the world. What it helps you do is become more resilient. I do this every night before I go to sleep. 5 things I'm grateful for. And one of them could be a cheese sandwich. Have you done it? What it does, it builds your emotional resilience to a place where you feel stronger, have more self-belief, and you're less upset with life. Oscar Wilde said, be yourself as everyone else is taken. I agree with that, but I think there's one word missing. I'm saying be your best self. Remember, being authentic isn't just about you being you, if only it was. It's about learning how to be the best you, truly being authentic. Understand that challenges are there to test us, not to hurt us. I think many of us have a misguided view of what this means. I want you to ask up to 3 people that you know, but have no emotional involvement with, what they would say about you to somebody who doesn't know you. 3 people. I would be very surprised if you're not delighted with the outcome. I've done this exercise hundreds of times. I won't say thousands, that's not true. Hundreds of times, and everybody that's come back to me and said, the things that people have said about me are surprisingly good. She's nice, she's clever, he's bright, he's kind. All the things that you want them to say about you, they will say. And that will help you to understand better who you are in the eyes of other people. Principle 2, everyone is a role model. I was thinking about that this morning on the train, which was packed. and thinking, what can I do that will show I'm a decent role model? Because we are all role models. So I offered the lady a seat, which was difficult because I have a bad knee. And she said, thank you. It's about taking action that helps you to feel better about yourself, build your self-belief, and moreover, helps somebody else. So think about something you can do today, tomorrow, that will enable you to be a role model for others to see and perhaps mirror, because we do mirror. Mirror, smile. It's catching. If we smile, we release dopamine, which is called the happy hormone. You can't stop yourself smiling, but when you smile, even if you look silly in the street, someone will smile back. That's the mirroring thing. People smile back. As parents, you all know you have a responsibility to be a decent parent and to show your kids the best way to be. Think about being a role model in your life. How can you share more of what you really feel that's helpful and positive? Because that's what people will mimic or mirror. Principle 3, the power of one-to-one. Conversations you have with people that are somewhat private or business-like. You're sitting at a table, they're there, you're here, and you're talking to them. Be aware of how you communicate with them. Do you communicate with your arms folded? If you do, it sends a message to your brain, which is, I'm not really interested, I'm bored, I don't want to be here. The worst combination is legs crossed and arms folded. What that does to your brain is it prevents your brain from being open. On TED.com, a lady called Amy Cuddy, A-M-Y-C-U-D-D-Y, talks about how body language affects our brain and how our brain responds to positive or negative body language. I really recommend it. It's the most watched video on TED. Amy Cuddy. So this is not silly talk, this is very straightforward. If you walk into a room with open body language, your head held high, and you pretend you have lead weights on your shoes, as in you own the ground, you'll send an impression of much more positivity, and then shake hands. Very good. Could be 5% more. Very good. A little bit too stiff. 5% less. The thing is, if you practice this with people you know and ask them to comment, not to criticize, but to help you improve your handshake, because there's lots of evidence to prove that the right handshake can affect the trajectory of a meeting and the outcome, and the wrong handshake can spoil it. Fact. What's worse than shaking hands with a wet fish or a vice? You want something between a wet fish and a vice. Principle 4. When we take positive actions, our life becomes better. We improve our life and we improve lives about us. Years ago, when we were living in Los Angeles, my wife and I used to live in Los Angeles, another story, and I came back to the UK for a business visit, and I went to the bank to put my number in, and there was nothing there. £1,500 had just gone, which was enough for my trip. So I phoned the bank and they said, you put your card in yesterday 4 times, and someone had ripped my number off when seeing me at the machine. And I thought, when I speak to my wife today in Los Angeles, I will need to tell her. Why? Because I'm honest, and 2, because it's authentic, and 3, because she's very, very supportive. So I said, Kate, good news is I've managed to prevent. No, I said something about, I phoned the bank and they told me my card was used and they're not charging me, and the £1,500 I thought I'd lost, I've got back. So I started off with what I thought was the most positive way of telling her I was unhappy. Make sense? I could have said, just been ripped off £1,500, I feel sick. And so I didn't say that. So I'm saying, choose to find a positive way to relate your stories. Why? It's healthier for your mind. Neurologically, we become happier, more content, and less concerned. And think about this, who do you like being around, positive or negative people? Positive? Of course. Therefore, be the person that you most want to be around. Be the person who you think is fine to be with and whose company you want to share. If we do that, we just become better, bigger, we're shinier. Principle 5, change one thing. This is one of my favorites because it's very difficult for me to change. I have a little bit left over of OCD, but I use the words overly consciously detailed because I want things to be just so. When I write a blog for Huffington Post, I read it more times than is necessary, send it to my wife, because I don't necessarily trust myself. I'm getting used to the fact that I don't have to do that. If I believe it, you'll believe it. If I feel strong, you'll feel strong. So change one thing, I've changed one thing. Change is very difficult because the way we do things becomes habitual and slightly addictive. Years ago, I used to drink coffee with caffeine and smoke cigarettes. 40 a day. I stopped about 20 years ago, and I used to have caffeine coffee because it gives you a high. I became addicted to coffee and cigarettes. I gave up both through psychotherapy, but more importantly, because I realized I was addicted. And being addicted to something that harms you, well, it's stupid, isn't it? So what thing can you change in your life that's getting in the way of you being happier, healthier, more content, and feeling more successful? One thing. And I suggest you try that today, tomorrow, and know that 30 days time, if you do this one thing, stop doing this thing for 30 days, you will change your life measurably. Because it will show you you're stronger than it, you're more powerful than it, and more importantly, you are in charge. Not the thing you've been leaning on for a bit of support, which doesn't give you support, it brings you down. Now this morning, because of Murat, who's filming this, I met him about 2 weeks ago, and we talked about eating, and I said that I hadn't had breakfast, and he said, Malcolm, the most important meal of the day is breakfast. He's right, because our body is low in sugar, we are low in energy when we wake up in the morning, so have protein, an egg, a protein bar that doesn't have too much sugar in it, something that gets you the energy to spend the day more successfully. Because as your day starts, it will continue. If you start off on a good note, you'll probably end up on a good note. Maybe you want to change your reading habits. I read lots and lots of non-fiction books, and I recommend if you don't read books, if you do read books, you change from a novel to something non-fiction, or if you read non-fiction, try a novel. My wife is a writer, and she said to me a year ago, have you ever read Frankenstein? No. Have you ever read Dracula? No. So I read both books, and I've got to tell you, they are fantastic. Have you read them? Frankenstein is a love story, and Dracula is an adventure. But more importantly, they are written so beautifully that you just can't wait to turn the page. The most important thing about the principles in my program is that you, the audience, take action. Without taking action, nothing changes. You just stay the same, and you regress. So think about the principles and what one thing can you change, because like a good habit, it'll become addictive. Because you'll learn, I feel better about myself, I feel better about my confidence level, my self-esteem has been raised, and I feel closer to being me than I've ever felt before. I want some more. Principle 6, doing the right thing. How many of you know what doing the right thing is? It's more than just saying I empathize with somebody. It's about putting that empathy into action. So you might buy a cup of tea or coffee for a homeless person. More important, you ask the person, do you drink coffee or tea? No. What do you like? I like lemon tea. You go and buy them a lemon tea. Empathy is about engaging, not just doing the right thing. It's about engaging, and then because of what you learn, you do the right thing. You might give money to a charity, £5, £10. You don't do it with any reward for you. You do it because it's the right thing to do and because it helps the human race become kinder. less selfish and more selfless. As in, what's in it for me? I don't know. Feeling good about myself, that's enough. That's the reward I get. I don't get any money. I don't get a pat on the back. I don't get a handshake. I get something in me that makes me feel better about me. And when you feel better about you, you do better work, you make better contacts, and you know you're doing the right thing. Your self-esteem grows. And your self-esteem is more important than your confidence, because your self-esteem enables you to have authentic confidence. When you feel right about you, you feel right about what you do. And you pass that through to other people, and you communicate it in a way that enables them to feel what you're thinking and doing. Does that make sense? They can feel it. It's like you send a vibration. Touchy-feely? No. New Age? No. Fact. Science has proven that when we do the right thing, we increase our level of confidence, we are healthier, and it's recognized universally as something that helps the world go round. Principle 7. One for all and all for one. Each of you know, because you're here as a group, that together you can work miracles by comparison to being alone. Think of it like a boat race. All those people rowing together, the captain, it's a team. We're in a team. In life, we are all part of a team, whether it be the group here, your family, friends. Give that team the best shot at winning in their field. In a way, one for all and all for one makes you feel more inclusive with you rather than exclusive. In that together, perhaps eat with family rather than watch television and have your food on your lap. Have the family meal as a family, because you're part of them and they are part of you. So I'm asking you to consider what things can you do to encourage more teamwork, better relationship with your family, and think about that, please. I'm not suggesting any of you should be perfect. I'm saying, do you want to improve your life? Is that a yes? Follow these principles. One principle will get you addicted to the other 6, and they'll become habitual. You'll do them as a matter of, this is who I am. This is who I'm becoming. Have you ever wondered what might be holding you back from being happier, more successful, less stressed, and satisfied with your life? I'm sure the answer is yes. I know how that feels because I have my own set of challenges. By following the 7 down-to-earth principles and the power of one, you'll have the answers, and with my help, you'll be able to make changes that serve you and help you to be a better version of who you are.